Hi everyone, and welcome to American Firearms Network. Thank you for all watching us here today. We hope you like our show, and we hope you like, subscribe, and share. And please check out our Instagram. We're growing our Instagram, and we're getting strong, and we have some good stuff on there. Great topic today.
Yeah.
Great topic. And today's topic is, do you lend your friend a gun, Instructor Paul? What do we do about that? I've been getting a lot of calls on that, a lot of questions, and I got 2 emails last week about it. Do you lend your friend a gun? What are your thoughts?
It depends on the friend.
Right.
Basically, I mean, if you know your friend's a bit of a hothead, you may want to consider that, because you don't want to give your friend a gun and then he uses it in the wrong way. So it comes back to you.
It comes back to you. Like, I would lend my good A-level friends, right?
Yeah.
I categorize my friends: A-level, B-level, C-level.
Uh-huh.
You got to be an A-level friend for me to, like a really close friend for me to lend you my gun, right? I don't think you lend it to just anyone that's just a regular friend. And you got to be careful with that, right? Like, I would go to the range if I really trust my friend that it's legal in that state, because it's not legal, right? You can't just, like California, you can't lend a gun to your friend. There's many states you cannot lend your friend a gun.
You can't.
So the question, I would lend a good friend my gun if I trust them and if I know them a long time. I would, if it was legal, only if it was legal. I might do that. I prefer going to the range and lending my friend's guns. I've done that before under my supervision.
Yeah.
Right? But you got to be really, really careful because you're responsible for that. God forbid you lend a friend a gun and they, they're depressed one day and they do something crazy, right? Kill themselves or they shoot somebody. You're going to get a charge. You're not going to get that murder charge, but you're going to get charged.
Yeah. It also depends on the skill level. Because I'm not going to lend my friend a gun if his skill level is not up to par. I'm not going to do it. And that's why I would have to go on the range with him and see how he conducts himself and how he deals with a firearm. But just to lend my friend a gun that hasn't got a lot of experience, I wouldn't do it. Now, I've lent a friend a gun, but I know his experience. I know what he can do. Because you have to be mindful of that. You have to be responsible, because if you lend your gun to somebody that, number one, that's not responsible, number two, that hasn't got the experience with firearms, that could be a problem for you.
And let's talk about experience. I lent a friend, a good friend of mine, went to the range. I lent a mechanic. I think I have my RMR dot on there.
Yeah. And
I don't know how this happened. The dot popped off.
Oh.
I think he smashed it. Something happened. He smashed against the wall. I don't know what the hell he did. The RMR, bull. I think I Loctited it in. All of a sudden, it's like hanging off, and he just hands me. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" It was an accident. It's fine. I fixed it, but it's just, an experienced person is not gonna.
Right.
That probably won't happen. I'm not saying it couldn't, but it probably won't.
I don't know if you remember that we were at the range together, and I used your gun, and it locked up.
My SIG X Macro.
Yeah,
I lent it to you. You all of a sudden the trigger. You snapped the trigger. I was like, oh man.
I felt so bad. I thought you said don't worry about it. I said I'll pay for it.
That was my main gun. And I had to put a spring in it, and the whole trigger snapped.
I don't know what it was. You were shooting with that somewhere.
You just went back to shoot. You grabbed another gun. That was it. We had a good time that day.
Yeah, we had a good time. But you was understanding.
Yeah, of course. These things break. It's just, listen, my only concern is, people aren't always like how we're speaking. People will lend anyone a gun sometimes. Even if they say, okay, it's borrow your gun, don't worry, I'm just going to go to the range or go wherever. And you got to be very, very careful.
And don't be frightened to ask questions. If a buddy comes and asks you for it, ask him, what do you want it for? I'm going to go to the range. Okay. But don't be frightened to ask questions, because you really don't. Listen, Todd, at the end of the day, you really don't know what's in someone's head. Yeah. You said it. You don't really know what's in someone's head, even a friend.
You don't know.
So you really have to be mindful of that.
Well, look what happens at the ranges, right?
Yeah.
They rent guns. You can see it all over YouTube. Someone will rent a gun, and they take themselves out right in the range. They kill themselves right in the range with a rental gun. I know they changed the rules now. Now you have to go in with a gun. Mm-hmm. And, right? I think maybe you have to bring a friend. I think you have to go in with a gun.
Okay.
And most of the ranges that I've been to, You have to have a gun in order to rent a gun.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
So it's not for the sole purpose of.
What should you do if you're lending a friend a gun and police stops you with your friend's gun?
Well, just for our audience, that's our cameraman Hans. Asked us a question here. Thank you, Hans. I love that. So what should we do? What should we do, Paul?
I would tell the cop the truth. It's a friend's gun, and you know what I usually do though. If I'm going to lend this may sound a bit cheesy, but if I'm going to lend a friend a gun, and it's not his gun, I would write some affidavit that I lent him my gun. You may find this funny, but I would do it if I had to, because you got to remember that if he has a gun and the cops stop him and that gun is not registered to him, that could be a problem. But if you have something in writing, and how long does it take you to write a little note? It may sound silly, write a little note and date it, that I gave Paul Gale my gun, okay? Cops stop, you let them have it. Because if they catch you with a gun that's not registered to you, they could give you a hard time.
It makes sense. I don't know if that's going to, prevent an arrest. I'm not sure, but that would make sense to me. It all depends on the laws in the state, right? Either you can lend a friend a gun or you can't lend a friend a gun.
It depends.
In certain laws, you can lend a friend a gun, but there's rules attached to that, right?
And there has to be rules attached to any of it.
Yeah.
I know how it sounds. You've got a buddy, you're good buddies, and you want to give a gun to him. You don't want to have to go and write a little affidavit or something. But at the same time, if it's going to save you a heartache, how long does it take to write something on a slip of paper with your signature on it? I don't know.
Again, I would do that. I agree with you. I don't know if that's going to hold up in any type of court or prevent an arrest.
Right.
But
it depends on what's happened with the gun.
It might soften things up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
It's just it's a tough situation because I hear stories of they're not so close. People lending people's guns out, and there was a situation. I heard a story where someone lent a gun to a supposed friend. The guy was begging the guy, just let me borrow it. Don't worry, I'll bring it back the next day. Guy ended up killing somebody. And the guy who lent him the gun got charged. Right?
Well, that's what I'm talking about, Todd. You see, that's the same thing we're talking about. You just got to be mindful and make sure that all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted. You've got to, like I said before, it might sound cheesy, but I've been stopped with my own gun. And the first thing the cop does, he checks to see if the gun was registered to me. Now, if that gun's not registered to me, that's a problem. He's going to think, well, where did you get the gun from? That's my word against, I'm going to say, well, I bought it. Where did you buy it? Oh, okay, I bought it here. Well, where's the paperwork? If you get a really bad cop, he can give you a hard time on that.
Definitely.
So you just got to do what you have to do to make it easier for you if you get stopped. And also if you have to use that firearm. Because if you have to use that firearm and then the cop says, well, is it your gun? No, it's my Todd's gun.
I agree with you, but even like a close friend, like I have a couple of friends, unfortunately, like to drink. Not unfortunately, but when I say unfortunately, they overdrink, right? They drink way too much. And they're out 2-3 nights a week getting wrecked. Although I love these guys and the greatest guys in the world, I'm not going to lend them my gun. I don't think I'm going to make up some story not to give
You're not going to lend them the gun.
Because one of these guys, one of them's a hothead. They get drunk. They're carrying the gun. It's like, come on. Are you kidding me? Like, that gun's coming out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That gun's coming out, especially one of the friends I know. I make up his story.
What can we take from this then? At the end of the day, what can we take from this?
You have to be careful. Obviously, it's the obvious who you lend the gun to. It better be a very, very close friend. I've had this talks with other people. I know you have. We were in a conversation, I think, last week with somebody where they would never give a friend a gun. They just wouldn't do it no matter what. I would give a great close friend who I really trusted, if it was legal in my state, I would lend them the gun. That's my opinion.
Me too.
Okay?
Yeah, me too.
I go to a range. Of course, my friends can shoot my guns. I bring a whole bag of guns and I supervise them in the lanes, get them set up, get them ready to go, make sure I go over the safety with them and make sure they understand how the gun works. And then I go into my own lane and I'm watching everybody and everyone has a great time. The takeaway is try not to give your gun out. If you can avoid it, avoid it.
Yeah.
But if it's a dear friend and they want to go to the range with it, and that's another thing, right? What could you be using a gun for? It's got to be going to the range,
Or
right? What are they going to carry it for protection? Now they're looking, you know what I'm saying? Like
self-protection, yeah.
self-protection, but it's a question mark, right? They carry it for self-protection,
Yeah,
right?
that's a question mark.
It's got to be a very, very close friend.
Yeah.
Anyway, everyone, we hope you like our show today. Please leave a comment about how do you feel about lending a friend a gun? Are we on point? Are we not on point? Please check out our Instagram. Please like, subscribe, and share. And thank you very much for watching. Hey. Just want to let you all know that with each episode, we are going to give you a tip of the day at the end of the show. And we hope you enjoy our tip. And we hope you can relate to it and it makes sense to you. Thank you.
Hi guys, the tip of the day. Make sure you have a minimum of 2 guns, because if one gun goes down, I have a second gun for my personal protection. Have a good day.